right, so my name is Laura. Kind of put this flag raising together. It's so great for you guys to all be here. I'm gonna do my best. This is my first event, and I guess I was told I'd have to welcome us. So thank you everyone for being here. I am so grateful. This is such a great turnout. I was a little nervous, but this is excellent. We have some great speakers today. Once they get done speaking, Lisa will adjourn us, but I will start for our bagpiping experience. So first, we will have Digna, our chaplain, come on up and give us some words.
Thank you, Laura. Allow me to first read this poem written by Daniel Mark Ekstrom. I loved my life and had great plans for dreams I would pursue. I love to learn and love to work, so much for me to do. But plans and dreams, it always seems, are subject to delay. For life can bring surprises that takes us from our way. Mourn me not, my family, my spirit is still in you. The lesson that you taught me so well gives work I love to do. I'm grateful I can help someone. I've left a legacy, so someone else can yet live on with some help from me. My family loved me very much and taught me well to share, and I'm able yet to give, though I am not there. So part of me still sees the sun in a different way. My legacy gives life, you see, each and every day. The work I do now helps to hold a family together. Keep the memory of my gift in your heart forever. I hope that you find comfort in my memory. The work I do helps someone live my greatest legacy. Can you pray with me? God of the living and the dead, we invoke your unseen presence among us in this time of honoring those who have gone before us. We give thanks for the stories of the past, celebrate the stories of the present, and embrace the gift of hope for the future. Indeed, we can have hope as we first receive it from you. A hope of abundant life, a hope for a brighter tomorrow, a hope for a legacy of life beyond grief. Bless our gathering now with a claim that life is all in all sacred, in whatever form it enshrines unto us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Our next speaker will be Sherry DeShazo, our president.
Good afternoon. Today we pause to honor the selfless acts of organ, tissue, and cornea donors, and we celebrate the recipients who have received the gift of life through transplantation. We also acknowledge the 100,000 people across the country, including 4,000 Illinoisans, who are currently awaiting life-saving transplants. The Gift of Hope flag serves as a powerful symbol of unity, remembrance, and hope for those touched by donation and transplantation. The Gift of Hope flag is flown throughout the month of April to remind us of the vital mission to educate and register organ, tissue, and cornea donors. The flag reminds us of the importance of giving the gift of life and provides hope to those awaiting a life-saving transplant. As we raise the flag today, let us remember the donors, those who chose to give the ultimate gift, offering their organs, tissue, and corneas to save and enhance the lives of others. Let us remember the recipients, those individuals who have received a second chance at life, living fuller lives thanks to the generosity of others, even during grief, as lasting acts of love. Let us remember those waiting, the individuals who are currently facing the reality of needing a transplant, and the hope that a donor will come forward. We acknowledge the medical professionals and staff among us who work every day to care for our families, our friends, and our neighbors, who play an active role in honoring the decisions of donors and their families to offer life, hope, and healing to others through donation. We recognize that we must work diligently to help those still in need. We encourage everyone to make the selfless decision to register as an organ, tissue, or cornea donor. This simple act can make a profound difference in the lives of others. Let us also make it a personal mission to talk to our loved ones about organ donation, to spread awareness and encourage others to join this life-saving cause by registering to be a donor. In closing, we thank those of you who are registered, and others can learn more about registering here today by scanning the QR code located at the table outside. And finally, let us all continue to strive to make a difference in the lives of others through this gift of life. We thank you all for joining us today.
Our next speaker will be Nick DeBreezy. I'm just going to let him introduce himself. Amazing.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Nick DeBreezy Jr. Today I want to share my personal health journey and the transformative power of organ transplantation. I want to share the hope that the mere opportunity to have a second chance at life through the miracle of transplant can give someone that's in a very dark place. And speaking of hope, I always felt the name Illinois Organ Procurement Center, Gift of Hope, was very fitting, because that's exactly what the ability to receive a transplant does. It gives someone who's facing death that glimmer of hope. And there's been a lot of studies about the transformative power of hope. Why is hope so important? One of those studies that always stood out to me was conducted by a psychologist named Kurt Richter. It involved dividing rats into two groups. The first group of rats were placed in water and they were forced to swim for their survival. On average, they lasted about 15 minutes. Contrarily, the second group of rats, same size, same breed, they were also placed in that water to fight for their lives. But this time, before they gave up, they pulled them out of the water and they let them rest. They fed them, then again, they put them back in water. But something shocking happened the second time around. These rats swam for over 2.5 days. True story. 15 minutes to 60 hours. That's the power of hope. And that is exactly the concept of hope that resonated with me during my transplant experience. See, I'll start from the beginning though. I was born with a genetic condition called cystic fibrosis. CF is a condition in which the body is constantly creating mucus throughout its organs. Basically, I was being suffocated by mucus, but it also affects other organs, And because of CF, I lived with a below 25% lung function for over 14 years. I was on oxygen for 3 of those years. My life was a continuous battle of health illnesses and hospitalizations. By the age of 3, I was basically a prisoner of my disease on respiratory machines, on a vest. Before the vest, my mom and dad used to beat on me to help me spit out that thick green mucus to fight those infections, prevent those infections. By the age of 10, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I can go over and over down the list. We'd be here for many, many, many hours. But some of the other things I had was osteoporosis, GERD, anemia, and lung infections that caused me to be in the hospital for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. I spent over 2 years of my life in and around hospital walls like these. And at the lowest point of my life, I was at a 10% lung function. I was relying on 6 liters of oxygen. I couldn't even do a flight of stairs, spitting blood on a daily basis. And it was during that time that I experienced the power of hope, truly experienced it. Because I knew it was my lifeline. Basically, the belief that I could breathe freely one day and live beyond this prison was only a phone call away. And as a man of strong faith, hope is already ingrained in me. And as I waited on that transplant list, every breath I took was a challenge. And I prayed to God that if He saved me, I would dedicate my life to helping others. And on October 17, 2015, at Stanford Hospital, I got that call that changed my life forever. After about an 8-hour surgery, I received my double lung transplant at Stanford. Now that recovery was not easy. It was the hardest 4 weeks of my life. They had sawed my sternum in half, broke my ribs. I received so many blood transfusions, I lost count after double digits. But looking back now, it was worth every ounce of sweat and tears and blood that I shed, because it made me who I am, and it humbled me, and I needed to be humbled. Later, I became a very rare club, being a 2-time organ transplant recipient, because about 5 years after my lung transplant, well, all those antibiotics and hospitalizations took a toll on my kidneys. And now, here I am on a list again, waiting for a transplant, but this time for a kidney. A year of dialysis helped me stay alive, but I've been very blessed to have 2 best friends that I was born into, my older brothers. Both of them stepped up to be living donors. They were tested immediately. And my brother Dominic was a perfect match, and he gave me the gift of life again. This time he donated his kidney to me on July 1st, 2021. So what has this gift of life done for me? Obviously, it gave me life not once, but twice. But what does that translate to? Well, on a selfish level, it allowed me to continue to pursue my career as an actor in Los Angeles, even being cast in season 4 of Fargo as a regular, recently in Dexter Resurrection coming out this summer. I was also able to continue my career as a residential realtor in California and now here in Illinois as I've recently moved back. I went and participated in 2 transplant games of America as a competitor representing Team Illinois, winning medals in tennis, pickleball, Texas Hold'em, and volleyball. I've shared my story numerous times on different podcasts and in different speeches, and helping other nonprofits raise awareness and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, nonprofits that help the transplant community. But beyond these achievements, the thing I'm most proud of is I founded my own 501c3 nonprofit called the Breathe Like a Boss Foundation, in which we pay for recreational grants and for organ transplant recipients and people that suffer respiratory conditions like cystic fibrosis. We've since then offered hundreds of grants to hundreds of individuals, more than hundreds of individuals that are post-transplant or have respiratory illness issues. See, the gift of life is not just about survival. It's about allowing someone to experience the richnesses of life, love, laughter, making memories that were not possible if you wouldn't have had an organ donation. Things that really matter. And being that my nonprofit is very involved in the transplant community, I've been blessed to witness this firsthand. I've been able to see some of my post-transplant friends getting married. I've seen some have the joy and honor of walking their daughter down that aisle as she got married. I've even witnessed the experience of a post-transplant friend of mine becoming a parent for the first time. And in my case, organ donation has given me the incredible ability and honor to be godfather to 2 individuals, to continue to be uncle to so many others. It has given me fulfill a dream of mine of going back to my hometown of Italy, Sassano, Italy. After 17 years of not being able to travel, I spent my summers there with my brothers. And I was able to go there and see my family once again face to face. And most important though, it's given me the honor about 1.5 years ago on Christmas Eve, getting on one knee and asking the love of my life to spend the rest of my life with me. That's Mary right there. She just got here. So obviously I'm truly blessed. There's not a single day that goes by that I'm not grateful for the second and third chance in life. And I have a question, and one good thing I'm very good at now that I have a nonprofit, asking people for favors, right? So I'm going to ask you guys for a favor, something very important. I believe it was a quote from Denzel Washington that said, at the end of life, you never see a U-Haul behind a hearse, right? In other words, you can't take those materialistic things with you. But what does stay alive, what does remain is one's legacy. And I ask you, as you all consider your own legacy, what better way to do it than to be an organ donor? So please, if you're not an organ donor, I ask you to please do that, because with organ donation comes hope. It comes a hope that transcends illness, and it inspires resiliency and perseverance to people that are in a very dark place like I was 10 years ago. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you to the Gift of Hope. Thank you for considering the profound impact that organ donation can have. And thank you, together we can give this ultimate gift, this gift of life. For the hundreds and thousands of people that are on an organ transplant list today, we can give them the gift of hope. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Joy Beach, our donor mom.
Hi everyone, thank you all for being here. Nick said it really well about donating organs. Did you know that 6,000 people every day are on the organ transplant list in Illinois alone? How amazing, organs, they need to be, we need to sign up, we need to get our people to sign up, however, wherever, whatever. But my story is more about my son. My son, John, he was 22 when he passed away. But he was I'll just give you a little backstory. He was very tenacious, very active. He lived life to the fullest. He went and him and my husband, we took down the dining room table and put up a motorcycle lift because he wanted to build his own motorcycle. He was 17 at the time. And him and my husband went through and piece by piece, bolt by bolt, engine, handlebars, seat, you name it. He either worked for it or somebody gave it to him or he bought it at one of them little shows or whatever. But he put together his beloved motorcycle. It was his 22nd birthday and he had accident with it. We got a knock on the door at 2:30 in the morning and said that John was in a motorcycle accident to go to St. Joe's Hospital. And as we got up and got ready, they called us back and said, we have to go to the hospital in Parkridge. Lutheran General, I'm sorry. Lutheran General, so we made our way over there. My husband was a volunteer firefighter for 15 years and he was a EMT, first responder, for the Burlington Fire Department. He was also captain for a while, assistant captain, I'm sorry. And I had started to get into the EMT with the volunteer fire department also. So we were kind of knew a little bit about organ donation. We were organ donors, but we never spoke to our family about it. We never spoke to our daughter about it. We never spoke to our son about it. So when we were at the hospital, we were approached by Gift of Hope. He had had a traumatic brain injury and it severed the optic nerve on the one eye. But his neck wasn't broken. He had no broken bones. He looked fine. Besides, he couldn't breathe by himself. So, we had to make that decision though, to whether or not, he would become an organ donor or not. And Gift of Hope approached us and said, did you know your son was an organ donor? And we were like, no, but that's a good thing. So we went through the process of donating his organs and his tissue. And it was quite a traumatic experience. When you lose someone, you don't think it's going to be you. And here we were faced with that unpleasantry, so to speak. But he lived life to the fullest. But he was able to save 6 people's lives with his organs. A heart, 2 lungs, a liver, 2 kidneys. One of the kidneys had a pancreas with it, only the surgeon nicked the pancreas, so the gentleman couldn't sustained the diabetes through that, but he still has his kidney, so we know him. We've met 3 of his recipients. He also gave sight to 1 person, and he has over 166 tissue recipients, so that's bone, skin, tendon, things that you would not even imagine what help individuals throughout our lives. It's amazing. I'm just learning a little bit more about it myself. They live in 22 states and in 3 countries. To me, I'm so proud that he decided to become an organ donor. Instead of, burying his organs with him, it was a kind of like a no-brainer with organ donation. You don't need them. Please, if you can help somebody else, do that. And that's the way John was. John was the type of person who'd get the shirt off his back for you. When we had his service, we had a line of people down the block from the funeral home, and I didn't even know half these people. And even today, it's been 10 years now, I still have people walk up to me and say, "Hi, Mrs. Beach, how are you?" And I'm like, "Do I know you?" And they're like, "Well, I was John's friend." And to me, that made me smile, it made my heart just gleam, knowing that John was there. John has been able to help so many people, and I'm so proud of him, and I love to talk about him because I want his legacy to live on. And this is the best way to do it, is to promote organ and tissue and eye donation, because today we have so many people that are in need of it, that are, like Nick, that he got the second chance. And part of the transplant games, we've been involved with the transplant games for the last 4 years, to see people thrive, to see people get that second chance, to see people make memories with their loved ones is so amazing and so important. So it's not only organs, it's tissue, it's corneas, to be able to see again. We take for granted every day of our senses and what we have, what God has given us. And I'm just grateful every day that I wake up and let me do your will, God, because that's what it's all about. And I'm really proud of John for the decision that he made, and thank you. I appreciate you all listening to me.
And our final speaker will be Lisa Palmer, our Gift of Hope donation coordinator.
So I didn't prepare anything to read to you today. I came prepared to tell you how thankful I am. So I'm thankful for Sherman. I came in as the donation coordinator not that long ago in terms of hospital care, and I was immediately welcomed into this community and this family that I found at Sherman. I'm so thankful to the hospital as a whole, from administration down, for always prioritizing donation, donors, our donor families, and always having willingness to talk about donation and how we can improve, how we can do better for our donors, for our families, for our transplant outcomes. I'm thankful for all of our speakers today. You've all done a wonderful job and shared a lot of heartfelt information and your stories, and I love that. And I'm thankful for all the people who are here today. There's so many people who showed up to be part of this and to celebrate Donate Life Month, to celebrate our donors, our donor families. I'm just very grateful. And then my last thank you is to Laura Keenan. She is the chairperson of our donation committee, and she is the lady who there's always a present. So thank you, Steve. I'd like to welcome all of you to head outside, bundle up and head outside, and we're going to raise the flag. The flagpole is right around this area, so you'll see it.
Thank you, sir. room